Hello, hello, hello. This is Rene Manfre with What's Your Passion podcast. And today's a special day. I got a good friend of mine, a mentor, a coach, Armando Leduc with the Leduc Entertainment. I've been knowing Armando, I think probably somewhere around 3 years, 4 years. When I started my What's Your Passion concept, I was in my house, right? And I'm trying to do my own podcast. And I got to the point where I had some friends helping me out and I got introduced to Armando. When I went to his studio, it was just like walking into a movie theater. And the more I've learned about Armando, his background has just been in entertainment, music. He's had his own band, has a beautiful wife, beautiful young child, and just really lives that life. And back then, even though I didn't know it, I thought he was really done that $1 million status already. But he was still in that phase of building his business. But now, over the last 3 years, he's gone into multi-millions in his own company. He's really helped several companies all across the country with attorney firms, all different types of service-based businesses, show how to use video to really increase your business in all different areas. So, Armando, I thank you very much. I know you're out of town today, and a great seminar learned about exit planning, which is another topic I love. But I appreciate your time this morning and just kind of sharing a little bit about what you do, who you are, and what all the things that's going on in your world.
Always a pleasure, man. Thanks for having me.
So kind of go off. Where do you feel where are you at now? Where do you feel you started that's really changed? That when you look at the landscape today for most business owners, that you're doing video and you're showing them how to use the power of video to get their story out there and using social media and things of that nature. What are you seeing in the landscape with all the different companies you're dealing with across the country?
So what I've noticed is, and the epiphany that I had was basically everybody from 2024 on is going to need to build a personal brand along with their business. And I think a lot of business owners, they think that all they have to really worry about is the marketing of their business. And every business has a valuation. If you go and it's funny that I'm here at this conference because every business has a valuation, right? And as they're trying to sell their business, they're trying to get it to a point where it's valued at the max, so that when they sell it, they have they can sell it at that price point.
Right.
But if you think about your personal brand as a valuation and you think about it in social currency then becomes currency, right? And what I mean by that is a lot of personal brands are based on social media, followers, subscribers, engagement, all of that stuff. The people you have relationships with, all of those things increase your social currency. And as you start, here's the beautiful thing about building your personal brand is that entrepreneurs, myself, yourself, we have a lot of ideas. We have a lot of projects. And the thing is, a lot of these business owners, they try and feed a lead or feed a prospect all of their menu items. Correct. And the prospect can't absorb all of that. They just can't, right? And so what happens is confused people don't buy, they move on. And then the entrepreneur is sitting there going, well, none of this stuff works, right? And because they're thinking about, they're not necessarily in an abundance mindset, they're more in limiting beliefs where they feel like they have to collect money from all the different sources when their focus needs to be on just one thing. And that's what when somebody starts to work with me, the first thing we talk about is what's your one thing? What is the one thing that you do that, number one, gives you energy, right? Lights you up inside. You're super passionate about. I love that. I love your podcast called What's Your Passion? Because if you don't have the thing that lights you up and all you're doing, if you're just starting a business so that you can make money, then you're missing the point, right? Because this is something that you're going to have to be doing 24/7 when you're running a business. It's just a constant. So the thing that I tell most entrepreneurs is, let's build your personal brand, and let's talk about what it is that lights you up. And this isn't what you do, it's who you are. And what I mean by that is, when I work with, say, personal injury attorneys, just because you're a personal injury attorney, that doesn't mean that you that's who you are, right? No, being a personal injury attorney is what you do. Who you are all of the other things that light you up, right? The things that you're passionate about talking, the things that, if I'm watching you on social media and we'll create videos for you, those are the things that attract me to you. And most of the time, 80 or 90% of all business owners are only focused on creating content that brings them an ROI, instead of creating content that they're passionate about, that you can tell the tonality changes, the passion starts to come out. And if you're only tying that to an ROI, there's a disconnect, especially for social media, right?
Right.
There's a place for advertising, and that's paid social. But if you're talking about organic social, you have to talk about, what is my personal brand? And then how do I put myself out there in that way so that people can connect with that? But here's the thing, Rene. Most people have imposter syndrome. And so it's hard for them to put themselves out there in an authentic way, because they're so afraid of judgment. They're so afraid of people hating on them. They're so afraid of so many things. And if they really realize the thing that makes them who they are, right? Letting their freak flag fly. When they do that, they're going to attract the people that want to work with them, right? And
Okay.
when that happens, that's when you exponentially grow your business. You look at every single successful person out there that has a strong personal brand. They're out there living their authentic selves, right? And they talk about that all the time. Oh, I want to be authentic. I want to be authentic.
Right.
You can't be authentic if you're afraid of showing people who you really are.
Give me some ideas. So, what are you seeing when you're saying, what do you say to attorneys? Like, what are they doing to show their authentic self? They're basically talking about some of the things that they're doing for the community, or a little bit about themselves, their background, or they show pictures of their family, or what is it that you say when you're building your personal?
So we just do a deep dive. One of my clients, who's a personal injury attorney here in New Orleans, we sat down with him and, like, just, what is the one thing? What do you love to talk about? What is the things that you're, like, spending the most time on? And we figured out that, like, scaling businesses, right? And thinking about business and everything that goes into it. He loves sales. He loves intake. He loves closing deals. He loves talking about that. He loves the psychology behind closing deals. He loves the psychology of marketing. He loves the psychology of all of those things. And so when we sat down and we were like, oh, when we create your podcast, we're going to call it the Not So Serious Business Podcast, right? It's not connected to his personal injury firm, only in the fact that he's a personal injury attorney. But nobody's going to want to nobody's going to watch a podcast about personal injury, right? So it's a personal injury attorney doing a podcast called the Not So Serious Business Podcast. And the thing is, he's super fun and he's funny and he's light-hearted. And I was like, dude, why aren't we pushing that part of you? And here's the deal. When we really, like, nailed it, when we went to go shoot his podcast, it was so easy. Like, most of the times before, when we did a podcast before, it was like, what am I going to talk about? What are the questions I'm going to say? How am I going to do this? But because we've already figured out what his passion is and what he wants to talk about, then when he brings people onto his podcast, that becomes the through line. You know, I have another attorney in Fort Lauderdale who is a cancer survivor, and she, like, blew it off as if it was nothing. Who wants to hear about my getting over cancer? And I was like, wait, hold on, what? Let's talk about that. Let's unpack that for a second, right? What was the story behind it? Well, I had just had my kid. Things were going wrong. I was asking my doctors. They were putting it off as if it was just hormone imbalance and that I just had a kid. And she's like, so she self-diagnosed herself online, found out that there was this rare cancer, ended up in New York and eradicated the cancer. But she wouldn't be here right now had she not trusted her instincts. And so I said, well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about, you know, those moments, those fork in the road moments in your life that made you who you are, right? And those are the things that you start to figure out about yourself when you have those epiphanies, when you have those moments that rock you and that change you forever. And then those, how you overcome the obstacles, become the thing that makes you who you are. You can't grow if you're patting yourself on the back. I always say that, right? But when you're growing from something, when there's obstacles, that's when you really truly become the person you're supposed to become,
Oh
right?
yeah.
And
Yeah.
then there is people are always looking for that perspective to like help them go through,
Mm-hmm.
to help them get over what they're going through. And I told her, I said, if you help one person overcome cancer because they didn't just rely on their doctor, and they did some research and they got a second, third opinion, and they were able to survive as a result of listening to your story, don't you think that's a life worth living?
Right. Right.
She was like, yeah. And I was like, and don't you see how in a roundabout way, don't you see how it will further grow your company because you're living your authentic self and you're living your truth, right? We're not creating content in order to grow the business. The business will grow as a result of us living authentically and us continuing to help in the ways that are authentic to us. That's what I mean by living your authentic self.
No. I'm with you, and I see it's a servant mentality sometimes that you just do things to help people or bring information that's going to help other people, and so whether you're over here, it's who you are is what really people come to attract to you. And by helping people, I find through the years of different industries I've been in, it all kind of comes down to, by the way, what do you do? Like some people don't even know, like I might be doing something and they ask you, so what do you do? Because they're so appreciative, I guess, of whatever I was doing. It actually turned into business down the road. And I find that,
Right.
that yeah, a lot of people are missing. They're missing that. So that's
Yeah.
all.
These days when I'm talking to people, I'm figuring out, what is the thing that lights you up?
Mhm.
When we have those deeper conversations, the conversations change like dramatically. And I'm no longer going, what do you do? Because what you do is not as interesting as who are you?
Correct.
Why do you do? Right? And when
Mhm.
those questions start to happen, people are like, oh, I want to talk about that. That's more that's deeper than just the surface level stuff.
Right, right. Insurance. I mean, insurance for me was not my passion, but it
Right.
was something I got into years ago, and I found that every time I went through across the kitchen table or a client, I was able to help them not only with their insurance, but after a few conversations, as I found some other problems that they were having, and I would refer them, right. So I became this consultant through the years because of that reason. It's just I do certain things, but there's certain things that I don't specialize in, but I built this resource of people. And that's where
Yeah.
our relationship comes from. I'm not a professional video guy. So as I'm talking to individuals and I'm sharing with them some of the things like what you've helped me with is getting comfortable doing my podcast, getting comfortable doing more videos. I'm getting better over the last year that you and I have been working together. And I'm seeing your company growing dramatically. And every time I see your podcast and your videos, it basically gives me the drive to keep on going, right? To keep on getting better. And at the same time, yes, the podcast is not my moneymaker. My lawn care business is on my moneymaker. I do a transportation. So I do different things, but this has opened up doors because it's really just interesting talking to other like-minded leaders like yourself. And that's really what is my passion? My passion is really just to talk to people and learn because I have this curious mind. And like you're saying, it's just really just an interesting path when you can help certain people get through some barriers that they're trying to get through. Just like you
Yeah.
were helping me. I remember I pulled on the side of the interstate that night so I could sign up with your program, and you walked me through the process. And there were certain things that I never did before. So this whole time period. So that's what I'm seeing. So yeah, you're so right that some people are just kind of lost on what they're doing. They're doing it. It's not like really have a passion for it, but they want to do something else, but they're so scared to kind of start moving into that other direction and just letting it fly. But that's what
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that there's going to be people that listen to this podcast that will never take the action to move into that direction. And, could be from, years of trauma, years of being in a, in a family where they were told and made to feel shame for who they really are as people, right? Maybe they got bullied, maybe they got told they weren't good enough or they were stupid or what do you think? And, all of that stuff. So when people, when you have the courage to really be yourself, and this is the beautiful thing about creating content, is that the action of creating content will reinforce that authentic self to you, right? You can't get there without actually putting yourself out there, truly putting yourself out there, right?
Right.
And like the vision for my company before was, I'm going to help, 500 entrepreneurs get to 7 figures, right? And it was just writing on the wall. It was just written words. Wasn't
Right.
really resonating with me. And I had a transformation about a month ago. I'm a member of this organization called the Visionary Summit. And started getting into energy and started talking about living your authentic self. And Gino Wickman, who created EOS, just wrote a book called Shine that talks about all of this stuff, that talks about like shedding all of these things that are preventing you from being who you are. And so our company helps give those people a voice to understand that their perspective matters, and that if they can unleash and if they can break the shackles of that imposter syndrome and they can really live their authentic life, then they can go out there and impact the world with their message, with their stories, with who they are, right? With their businesses. And that is a life worth living for me. Right. And
Correct.
as I'm seeing you take these steps with your podcast, right, and the continuation of what it's going to look like here, and not just 6 months from now, but 2 years from now, when you're 200 episodes in and you really have a following and people are listening to you, and as a result, their lives are changing and people are getting, like, there's so much negativity in this world, so it's going to take the visionaries of the world to really put a message out that, you can live your authentic self and really be happy, but you're so caught up with all of the BS and listening to people that you shouldn't be listening to, when all of it's inside you. The answers are all there for you if you just slow down and tap into the infinite and let go and get in flow and really figure out why it is that you're here and what it is that you're trying to accomplish.
So it's a lot of, and you and I haven't been really talking for the last few months too much, because I'm just overwhelmed on really exactly what you're saying. Really deep diving into myself on really what is it that I truly want, and it's a visualizing so strong that that's what I see. I see it, and the work that I'm doing on a daily basis, and I'm running across so many people that are stuck, and they're stuck on worrying, or they're stuck on whining, or they're stuck on not doing the action. And as I'm doing it, I just get up, get dressed, go, and just move. And it's all about actions. It's relationships are the key to this whole world. There's nothing that I keep on going back to the dots, Armando,
Yeah.
and everything is because of somebody. My father was the very beginning, right? My father, my mother, right? Then my brothers, then my sister. Then is certain people who I remember as a young age influenced me, or made me feel special, or gave me an opportunity, right? Then and it's like people don't understand it. If you're not networking, if you're not getting out there, and if you're not basically just asking questions, don't think about what you got to say. Ask questions, and people are just open. But it's just, I
Yeah.
find that even for myself, I'm getting more clearer of really where I'm going. But at the same time, I am having to let go a few things, that what I don't want to do, what I'm good at, what I'm not good at, things of that nature. So it's a self mastery. It's a self development on a daily basis that I think most people they don't believe in self development. They don't believe in watching these podcasts. These podcasts are truly is what the new education is. is people like you and I, and they don't really see that the podcasts and all the videos and just watching YouTube, a couple of good things on a daily basis can help you unstuck yourself. I guess you can say.
Yeah, 1,000%. Here's what I think. So we have a 3-prong approach to our system, right?
Okay.
You have customer journey mapping, and people, I always start with the personal branding and what lights you up first. But at the end of the day, we do have a business, right? And I do want to make sure that when we create content, it is going to bring them a return on investment. So the first part is customer journey mapping. And what does that mean? That means, how are people coming into contact with your business, and what are the steps that you're guiding them through to get them where they want to go, right? And I was just listening to Keynote here where the guy was talking about the people are buying your because, right? Like they're buying when he was talking about a drill bit, right? Like people aren't going to Home Depot to buy a drill bit. They're going because they want a hole. That's what they're buying. They're buying the hole. They're not buying the drill bit, right? So when we start thinking about, okay, what is the outcome that we want our customers to have? That's when you start to see, okay, I can guide them through the process and get them to the outcome. And Domino's did an amazing job with their Domino's pizza tracker, right? To let people know, hey, we got your order. Hey, now we're making your pizza. It's in the oven. We're cutting it up. It's in the box. It's on the way to you.
Right.
And like, hallelujah, this is every single business should have a Domino's pizza tracker for their company. How are people experiencing your service? You're living your business 24/7. Nobody knows your business, right? And here's the deal. I read a book once that said people are only going to remember 17% of a conversation. And that's if they're paying attention completely. Most of the time, what are they doing? They're on their phone, they're checking their email, they're somewhat listening, right? Or they're off in a tangent. So I would venture to say they're even less remembering what you're talking about. So if we're not through the process guiding them in bite-sized pieces on where they are in the process and keeping them engaged through the process, then that's when they're going to start getting angry. They're going to have buyer's remorse. They're going to feel like, what am I paying for? And all of those things start to come into play. And that's when our business really changed, when we started customer journey mapping and we started going, okay, where are we taking people? What is our approach to content creation? How are they experiencing it? And we created our Domino's pizza tracker, and then we put videos to it. So now at every single phase of the business, they know, we're in phase 1, development. What does that mean? We're talking about your messaging. We're writing your, we're coming up with the scripts. Then you move into pre-production. We're writing your scripts. We're handling logistics. We're figuring out what day we're going to shoot. Then production comes. They get a video right before production that says, hey, we're getting ready for production. This is what you need to know. And so throughout this entire process, we're not overwhelming them, because once again, people don't, I call it the fire hose effect. They don't want all that information. Break it up into spots, and then think about where they are mentally within that journey. And then hit them at that moment with the piece of content that they need to see, right? And so we put the customer journey together first. Then we did the lead journey, right? How are people finding out about us? Those are our marketing channels. Then how are they getting into our pipeline? And then how are we taking them from not knowing us to converting into a client, right? So that's the lead journey. We have the lead journey, customer journey, post-customer journey. And then the thing that if you guys, if you're listening to this and you take this one thing, you can really scale your business. And it's our referral partner journey. Nobody thinks about their referral partners, right? Nobody thinks about who our referral partners are and how am I staying in contact with them in meaningful ways in order for them to think of me and keep them top of mind when they come across someone that needs my service.
Gotcha.
And so So every week I'm contacting my referral partners. I'm leaving them Google reviews. I'm sending them gifts. I'm sending them, a referral, so that when I ask for a referral, it's like, oh, of course I'm going to send you a referral. Of course.
Right.
And then they also know exactly what it is that I do. So it makes it easy for them to refer me business. So if you guys don't do anything other than really focus on your referral partners and staying in contact with them, like that alone will scale your business.
When you say referral partners, I think some people don't really understand that. So when you look at a referral partner, like I believe I'm a referral partner because I'm always trying to put that out there, right? So I'm trying to get you business because if I can help certain individuals get into this space. So then the same thing with you, referral partners. When you talk about that, what is majority of people when you say it? What do you think most people?
I would consider you more an affiliate partner than a referral partner. And here's why, right? I think affiliate partners are people that are going to talk about your business. They like what you do. They may have worked with you in the past, right? And they're going to get like a 10% bonus as a result of connecting you with somebody. A referral partner is somebody that with one email can open their entire network up of like 2,000 people to you, right? One person for us that became a referral partner for us brought us $300,000 of business.
Wow.
One person, because they were at the top and they were going, yeah, this is the person. I can introduce you to my entire network, and people are like signing left and right. So those are the people that I'm thinking that you should really start focusing on referral partner wise. That can just open up the doors for you.
Interesting. Well, I just want to say that we're wrapping up right now. So this was a fantastic podcast. I wish I had another hour to 2 hours with you. So we're gonna have to chop
I appreciate
some future ones. But so if you want to get in touch with Armando, you get Armando Leduc. You can reach him on any social media channels. You have leducentertainment.com. He has an incredible website. When you look at his website, it just has every detail that you want to know about him, his services, testimonials. And it's just an incredible website. So leducentertainment.com. Armando, do you have anything else you want to say to wrap this up? I appreciate your time.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you for having me. I would just say, if you're listening and you're, debating on whether or not you should be taking that one step to really start living the life of your dreams and don't wait. Start doing things today to get to that point.
Amen. All right, guys. Rene, Manfre, what's your passion? Our passion is your passion. I'm always trying to bring on really good, valuable, and value information individuals who can change your life in any way, shape, or form. Look forward to seeing you more. We have our Tuesday night podcast, which is the live podcast on every Tuesday from 8:30 to 9:30. I do have certain guests that I'm bringing on over the next few weeks, so look forward to the next few episodes. Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.